I am Ray, and you may not believe this.
Too loud. Too loud.
I have control over the wind, the power of God, at my fingertips. I am Ray, and you may not believe this, but trying to be high vibe may actually be keeping you stuck. Here is why. It's a little word called trend. Trying too hard. Because when you're trying, that implies struggle. And one trap spiritual people fall into is trying to be positive all the time. Perhaps I contribute to the struggle. Because I always talk about focus on what is good, focus on what is positive. But I don't try to do that. And I realize there is some important things we must know before we can effortlessly focus on what is good, what is positive. We can effortlessly be high vibe. But think about how much this would suck. You're always trying to maintain this high vibration, trying to be positive, but you're like a volcano or something. And you're like pushing back all of this lava. Or like a beach ball underneath the water. And you're just looking around, everything's fine, everything's okay, I'm good. Focus on what is positive. And then the moment you get distracted, or the moment life puts a little pressure on you, you accidentally let go of the ball. And then hit you in the face. I was trying so hard to be high vibe. What went wrong? I'll tell you what went wrong. Fool. Sorry. You are loved. One of the main problems with spirituality, and religion in general, is that, well, we kind of hear these fancy ideas. And they sound really nice and cool. And because oftentimes we have no idea what they even mean, it's sexy. It's wonderful. Wow, mysterious, interesting. And so we kind of just share these ideas with everyone. But many people only have a surface level understanding of these things. So for instance, when people say to be high vibe, to be positive, if we do not actually understand what this means, it becomes fake positivity, where people simply just repress the negativity, or they ignore it, or they run away from it. Because if I'm not looking at it, at least I can pretend it's not there. But that's not what this means, my friend. Do not be fooled. Here is why we say to focus on positivity, to be high vibe. It is because who you are and your state of being influences the way you behave. And the way you behave influences what you have. And so, my advice for everybody would be stop focusing so much on trying to get things. Neck stretches. You want something in life, but instead of trying to go and get it, focus on your state of being. Because if you're in a negative state and you're trying to get something, you will be sabotaging yourself all along the way, creating more problems. Because that is what happens when you're in a negative state. You behave negatively, so you receive a negative outcome. Make sense? So you can struggle on this hamster wheel forever, never addressing the root of the problem. But the moment you address the root, the behavior and what you have in life takes care of itself, automatically and effortlessly. You see some people struggle their whole life, and you see some people who live effortlessly, receiving everything they want in life. And it seems unfair that I say the price of ignorance is slavery and death. The whole point of being high vibe is that once you focus on your state of being, you automatically behave in positive ways, high vibe ways, which cause you to receive the life of your dreams. And it's effortless, because what you find is, well, think about if you want to have a healthy body. You can do all the workouts, you can eat all the good food, but if you're hating your life the whole time, it's not really going to help you, because your mind is unhealthy. And what most people do is that they behave in order to get things, and that kind of just happens to change their state of being. Once they see the results, then they'll be happy. We want something, so we force ourselves to do it. But what happens when you begin to feel healthy? First, what happens when you begin to think positively, when you begin to love your body? You automatically behave in ways that are healthy. Because if you love your body, you won't trash it. And if you secretly don't like your body, you will trash it, because you cannot love something and destroy it at the same time. People who love themselves don't engage in self-destructive behavior. But think about trying to solve an addiction. You struggle and you struggle and you struggle. And it seems like you just can't catch a break. No matter what. It's always coming back to get you. But can you see the trap? You want to be high vibe. You want to be positive, so you're trying really hard to do that. You're on the slave side of the equation, my friend, which is why you feel stuck. And this can get kind of confusing because, well, unless you be high vibe, you can't receive high vibe. So what's the deal here? It's almost like you can't have something until you have it. I'll show you why. There are two paths on the spiritual journey. The low path are things like manifestation, astrology, tarot cards, crystals, basically esoteric knowledge. And the problem with this, not that it's bad, it's just that you can spend your whole life in this spiritual rigmarole, just kind of taking on new ideas, but it doesn't really change your life. You hop from one trend to the next and you call yourself spiritual. And I find these things very interesting. I love them. It's very cool. But I find that unless you complete the high path on the spiritual journey, this is just all distractions. What is the high path? It's enlightenment, awakening. This is what most of the spiritual masters teach. And what do you receive on this path? Freedom. Essentially, it's God realization. This is what you want. As Christ said, seek first the kingdom of God, and then everything else will be added onto you. Once you find freedom, you can go back to the world and enjoy all of these different things. And you have the power to manifest anything. But when you're stuck down here, you're trying to manifest your dream life, we have a whole lifetime of conditioning that we have to deal with. Negative beliefs, negative thoughts about ourselves and about life. And so it can feel like an uphill battle. But guess what happens? On this path, you realize that all of your beliefs and all of your thoughts are not you. You take your identification away from all of your mind stuff and you become free from it. And so all of the negative garbage keeping you stuck eventually just dissolves. And the process of being high vibe becomes effortless. Luckily for us, the high spiritual path, you can finish today if you'd like. You can finish it in 5 minutes. Whereas the low spiritual path, it doesn't really end. But first, we must come to understand the nature of reality. I'll try to keep it simple. Let us begin with God. In the ultimate state, the true one God above all. You could even say, like a superhero. The non-dual state of God. Now we'll keep it New Age, and we'll say that this is energy beyond the boundaries of space and time. It's almost like a heart. Because energy is the force of creation, and so God, as the creator, is the source of creation. But don't get it twisted. God is the divine intelligence permeating all of existence. So you have energy in the transcendent state. And then you have, well, all of existence, the universe, and all of your inner dimensions as well. This is why in the New Age, people replaced God with the universe. It's not exactly wrong. It's just that the universe is God in its secondary form. You say energy in the formless state and energy in form. So you basically have two variables. You have zero, or emptiness. This is the womb of the universe, God the Mother. And you have infinite energy, which is the divine intelligence of the universe. It is the seed that gets implanted into the womb, and that is creation, the universe. And all of your inner dimensions as well. God the Father, God the Mother, infinite everythingness, infinite nothingness. And then you have the one true God, which is the combination of both. As Nikola Tesla said, if you wish to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Because everything is energy. Now you take these two forces. Zero is not a force. Just words, my friend. Infinite energy slowed down all the way to zero. And like an accordion, all of existence is made manifest in between, with everything vibrating at its own unique frequency of existence. And so basically, the nature of reality is as the great Bill Hicks said, today, a young man on acid realized that all matter was merely energy condensed to a slow vibration. That we are all one consciousness, experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imaginations of ourselves. What does this mean, you ask? I call it the first law of truth. Truth. Are you ready? There is only God. To expand on this further, all is one. And maybe you could say the second law of truth is all separation is an illusion. Because, well, we know scientifically that the earth is just recycled stardust. So our true nature is stardust, but we live our life as little human beings, separate individuals. You see, God, the one actor, is manifesting through an infinite array of different characters. We identify as the characters, and therefore we live in illusion, which is why they made the movie The Matrix. Reality is not as it seems, and so on the higher spiritual path, it's all about becoming free from this illusion. Because so long as you're stuck in the illusion, life is a struggle. Think about a video game, for instance. Say life is God's video game. Most people believe they are the character in the game. Here you are. And so they spend their time improving the character, getting more stuff in the game, being better than others in the game. Not bad. That's life. The problem is that when you believe you're the character, you're a slave to the game. You're a slave to the rules. This box is a prison. A slave to illusion. But on the higher spiritual path, what you discover is that you are not just the character in the game, but you are the one behind the screen with the controller in your hands. Here is Eggman, the God of the universe. And once you realize your true position outside of the box, you are free. You are free from the constraints of the illusion. And you see, what happens is that on the extreme end of the spectrum, someone like Jesus, who can perform many great miracles, he had complete control over the nature of reality, because he knew his true place as God. In the Matrix, when the little Buddhist monk kid was teaching Neo how to bend the spoon, he said, "Don't try to bend the spoon. That is impossible. But realize there is no spoon. There is no separation. Logically speaking, there is nothing that should prevent me from levitating this cup of coffee, because I am the cup of coffee. But there's this great big wall between our conscious and our unconscious that prevents us from these powers. And so if I were to try that, my coffee would just drop and fall on the ground. And I would be upset at you for making me do this. Sorry, this is not a video on gaslighting 101. Not yet. And what happens is that once you become free, once you realize your true nature as the Eggman, this boundary begins to dissolve over time. You're not going to magically have superpowers overnight, but on the journey, powers may come. And the thing is, the more you stabilize in this wisdom, the more you don't allow any worldly beliefs to lead you astray. Because think about it, if you realize your true nature, if you knew with 100% certainty that you have absolute control over the nature of reality, you have this power, maybe you don't have access to it, what would stop you from doing anything? But what stops us is that we have a lifetime of conditioning. And what happens when you become an awakened being, you stop identifying with your conditioning. And because you stop feeding it, it begins to dissolve away. And your true nature springs forth. And as Christ said, unless you come to me as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Because when we are children, We only exist from this state, the egg state, because we don't have all this nonsense conditioning. All of our conditioning is like a dark cloud that blocks out the light and warmth of the sun. It keeps us from our natural radiance that is peace, love, joy, and abundance. It separates us from God. It separates us from our true nature. And so you don't have to do anything to get peace, to get love, to get joy, to have infinite abundance. It is already yours. Which is what, but when you're stuck in the game, when you're stuck in the matrix, when you're stuck trying to manifest and be high vibe, you are simultaneously saying to the universe, to God, to yourself, that you are separate from these things, and therefore you are stuck in illusion, because it's not true. But when you stop trying, you align yourself with your true nature. Effortless peace, love, joy, and abundance. And that is the trick. And it's hard for us in our modern day society, because we have this notion that we always have to be doing things, doing more. More is better. And well, I'm going the complete opposite way. Do less, because struggle is the nature of the game. Problems, always dealing with problems, trying really hard. Discipline is good. You need discipline to maintain control over your earthly character. But when you discover your true nature, life becomes effortless. You effortlessly get everything you want. But if you try to live that way from in here, you just become lazy. You just sit in your room all day and think, it's all gonna come to me. Not that it can't, if you're good at what you do. The point is, life is meant to be lived. And when you find your true nature, you don't just become lazy. There may be times where you have no desire or motivation to do anything. But you actually do more in the world than the average person. The only difference is that you don't struggle to do so. What you'll see over my career as an internet wizard, you will see me continually be able to do more and more difficult things. And people will think, how do you do that? You must have so much discipline. I use maybe like 5% to 7% discipline. But I do not struggle. I do not try. And any problems, I don't experience as problems. Because once you become free from the illusion, you realize that all is God, that God was always in control. You begin to see the problems as opportunities. God presents to you these things for you to grow. So they were placed there for your highest spiritual growth. So it cannot be a problem. Only when we live in illusion do we experience problems. The point of this, my friend, the secret that I shall reveal, is that because life is a game of energy, everything is energy, and the more high vibe you are, the better life you have. Your higher vibration, your higher state of being attracts your dream life. The trick is your true nature as the Eggman, awareness, is already the highest possible state of vibration. You are God in the transcendent, eternal, limitless, formless state, experiencing God in form. And we are all this. God is enjoying the experience of itself through limitation. And when we're in the world, it's all so real. You could say God is like an adrenaline junkie, parachuting down to earth. This is going to be a fun one. Life is a roller coaster, up and down and up and down and up and down. Wee. So the thing is, you don't have to do anything. You are already the highest state of vibration there is. But what happens is that you're somewhere in between 0 and infinity. Let's say you're right here, in between 0 and infinity. Here is you trying to raise your frequency, trying to reach infinity. And you can do this. It's called the path of earth and fire versus the path of water and air. It's simply put, the external path versus the internal path. One is not better than the other. It's just different flavors of life. Sometimes you want spicy, sometimes you want cool. So if you're feeling spicy, here you are. trying to raise your vibration. You can do it. It's a struggle. God enjoys the whole process. But when you go within yourself, you turn the other way. You go towards zero, the emptiness within you, the spaciousness. You just be. What happens is that your true nature, as the limitless, as the eternal, begins to shine forth. And the more empty you become, the more you become free from your conditioning, the more pure a vessel you are. Like Jesus, in which the God power can effortlessly flow through you and out into the world. We all have the power of God at the touch of our fingertips. It's just, that's not something we can really believe until you begin letting go of all that conditioning. Then it becomes more and more apparent, because your natural state of being effortlessly becomes peace, love, joy, and abundance. But so long as you're struggling, trying with all of this baggage, all of this conditioning, those things will slow you down, and it will feel like a struggle. And guess what? You can still force yourself through it and enjoy that journey. There is no right way or wrong way to live life. It's all about enjoying the moment. Enjoy raising your frequency. Enjoy struggling with it. Enjoy trying to overcome your addictions. Enjoy dealing with your problems. Enjoy struggling. Enjoy not struggling. Enjoy the journey to becoming empty. Enjoy the journey trying to just be. Enjoy the journey struggling with your negative thoughts. Enjoy the journey trying too hard to be spiritual. Enjoy the realization that you were trying too hard. Life is not a problem to be solved. It is a reality to be experienced. And the fact is, if you do not struggle, if you do not have these low moments in life, the highs don't mean anything. But we judge the low moments and say, this is unacceptable. We judge ourselves when we're in low vibe, like these dogs. These dogs are low vibe. What does a dog in low vibe do? He barks. He bites. What does a high vibe dog do? Chills. Relaxes. Effortlessly. The dog doesn't have to try not to bite. It doesn't have to try not to bark all the time, because its natural state is peace and probably love. But think about how appreciative a wounded dog is. A dog that you save, that was beaten and starved, and now gets to live a life of comfort and joy. You could almost see it in their eyes, the appreciation, the love. Whereas when a dog is just spoiled all the time, it becomes like a little football or a soccer ball, whichever you like. But I digress. The point is, at the end of the day, be at ease, relax, take a day off for Christ's sake. Take a day off for being yourself, because it is your belief in the character that prevents you from seeing your true nature as the egg person. Once you realize that you are not really the character in the game, but you are behind the screen, you are free. What does this mean? It means that everything you experience is a changing experience, but you are the unchanging awareness behind all of your experiences. You are the eternal. And you might ask, well, how do you know that you are God experiencing God? Because the unchanging awareness is eternal. And you really just have to go there for yourself. Well, you don't have to go anywhere because you're already there. Which is why enlightenment can happen in a moment. In this present moment, you realize, oh, wait a minute. Everything I experience is a changing experience, but what is it that does not change? It is me. I do not change. Because in the waking state, changing experiences. In the dream state, changing experiences. In the deep sleep, another changing experience. Because we wake up again and experience more change. But are you not there through all of these processes? You see, this is why the placebo effect exists. It is because the infinite and the eternal has complete dominion over the temporary and the limited and the changing. So it is essentially your God power overriding the nature of reality. Unintentionally, of course. But imagine what happens when you begin consciously using this power. You do not understand what is coming, my friend. A golden age of the world, never before seen, maybe, like a new Atlantis, where more people than have ever before wake up to their God power. The gods shall walk the earth again, my friend. You will see, moving forward, more and more people exhibit these superpowers, these miracles. Because I'm not the only one teaching this. It's available to all. And you see, at the end of the day, once you realize this, it doesn't matter if you're in high vibe, it doesn't matter if you're in low vibe. You have the infinite power of creation regardless of your temporary changing experience. The external circumstances of your life are irrelevant because you always have dominion over reality. It's just we have to continue to kind of reaffirm this understanding. Because, well, how many people do you think could actually believe that? Zero. Nobody. Who can believe this? You almost just have to continue exposing yourself to the information and then experiencing it for yourself and then diving deeper, stabilizing in this wisdom. And before you know it, you stop playing about so much in the illusion and you focus on self-realization, on God, on awakening, becoming free. And once you find the kingdom of God within you, then you can go to the world and play. That is how life is meant to be played, my friend. I like to say most people are playing life on demo mode. They're stuck in the game. But the true game of life begins when you take control over that controller. And now you can do anything you want in life. And you become fearless because you are no longer bound by death. So be prepared, my friend. I am Ray. Visit my cool store. And let me know what you would like to see in my cool store. Because I would like to create more of what you want. Let me know in the comments down below. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just bud. Be bud.